Super Rugby Aotearoa Dream Team. I might do this a bit quicker because this is the second time I've done it. The first time my computer decided to use the onboard laptop microphone, which, just between you and me, really sucks. It sounds like I'm living in a tin can. 15 players. If you've seen my Dream Team videos before, I generally just go general position rather than specific jersey number. I look at stats, gut feeling, and you guys in the comments, let me know which ones you agree with and which ones you disagree with. Spoiler alert, a lot of Blues guys, fair few Highlanders guys. Chiefs and Hurricanes, kind of slim pickings. Props. Start with this man, Aiden Johnston. Nothing real flashy, but solid scrummaging, which is what you'd probably rather than poor scrummaging and flashy play. No penalties conceded. Top stuff. Solid scrum. Top stuff. 2 runs for no meters. You're a prop. That's fine. That's a pass. 4 from 4 tackles. 100%. Not a huge amount, but 100%. Cannot complain with that. Other prop, I have gone with Offa Tuangafasi. He got a bit of trouble for Armstrong, didn't he, at scrum time? He got him penalised at least once. And his other stats were, again, very good. I think 11 from 11 tackles for a prop is a hell of a work rate. 5 runs for a metre, 3 passes. I think he was penalised once and then substituted. So he's come up in my estimation for sure over the years. I never used to rate Tuangafasi, but now he is a top prop. What can I say? Hooker, I've gone with Ash Dixon. I know Colsey had that hell of a run down the wing for that try, bumped off Bowden and Knock, gave them gave him that celebration. But yeah. If he wants to be a winger, let him be a winger, man. I'm going for a hooker here. So Dixon had a proper hooker's try, one that's not going to get him kicked out of the front rows club. A try from a maul. He had 1 run meter from 3 runs. He made 2 passes, 10 from 12 tackles. Didn't concede a penalty. And key point for him on that night, 100% line out. Not one went astray. You could not say the same for the Hurricanes, and you could not say the same for the Chiefs. That is for sure. Even the Blues, but still. Dixon, proper shift from him. Locks, I have gone with a Blues man in Patrick Tuipulotu. The commentators in the game, which I watched as soon as I got home. I don't know if that's weird that I came home from the game I just went to. I must have been in a good mood and then watched the game again back on the telly, or at least on my computer on the old ESPN. And yeah, they were going on about his hair. On the radio at the game and on the TV, they're going on about his hair. But bugger his hair. He had 5 runs for a metre, 3 passes, 6 from 6 tackles. But a lot of the stuff that didn't get picked up, at least on the stats that I saw, line-out work, very disruptive of the Canes, gave them a hard time. Lots of clean-outs, very busy work. Proper captain's knock from Patrick. And I just see on the news tonight, he's signed a deal to stay in New Zealand a bit longer. Good news for All Blacks and for Blues fans that he's not taken off anywhere. The other guy, I could have gone with a few guys, but I went with Paddy Parkinson. Not a perfect night at the office for him by any means, but 4 runs, 9 meters is actually a good average return for a second rower. 4 passes, 8 from 9 tackles is also a good shift. Line-out work was solid. He did cough the ball up a few times, and he did give away a few penalties, but he's a big fella, so we will give him a little bit of leeway as they adjust to the new rules. Lucy's, another guy who made himself a bit of a nuisance at line-out time for the Hurricanes was Tom Robinson, and he's good like that, so it's definitely a benefit to having him in the side. Also, his work rate is evident. 4 runs, no meters, again, that's fine. 16 out of 18 tackles, great work rate. 3 line-out steals is what Rugby Pass said, but I couldn't find their full list of match stats. No penalties conceded, but good to see his work kind of recognised there. Another guy from the Blues, I've gone with Hoskins Satutu. And people have been talking a lot of good stuff about him, and for good reason. He's been playing really well prior to lockdown, and he's picked up where he left off. He's keeping Akira Ioane out of the side, and again, probably for good reason. So he's putting in a top shift, man. 15 runs, 51 run meters. Phenomenal numbers. 4 passes, a clean break, a defender beaten, 2 offloads, 12 from 14 tackles. What isn't the guy doing? Again, commentators going on about his hair. Who cares, man? Look at the results on the field. He is a machine. And the last guy, this man, and I shouldn't say who cares because I've given a fair few halfbacks grief for their hair before. Some of them are just atrocious. Dylan Hunt. You wait till you see his tackle numbers, man. I know Robinson had 16 out of 18, but 2 runs, 5 meters. Good work at the breakdown. I think he only conceded 1 penalty, so he may have a good time with these kind of rules seeming to favour fetches. But, 19 out of 20 tackles. And you think about it, the Highlanders were under the pump for ages. And it was guys like him getting up off the floor and making another tackle and another tackle and another tackle. So, top shift from that young man. Halfback, I've gone with Aaron Smith. And who was it yelling at those guys to get up the floor and make more tackles? It was this guy. He really showed some proper leadership and pushed his forwards around, make sure their defensive patterns were set. And with ball hand, he was just doing his crisp passing game, which he is so well known for. 3 runs, 11 meters, 7 from 8 tackles, so he put in his own defensive effort as well. Crisp passing and very vocal on the field, which is TJ Perenara found out. It's a halfback's job. Sometimes it can get a little bit much. First 5, I have gone with Aotearoa Black. Kept Bodie out of that 10 jersey, and he looked the part, man, in this game anyway. 3 conversions, 3 penalties, 100% goal kicking for 15 points. Remember, the Blues scored 30, so he got half the points. And that just takes the pressure off, man. When he's kicking them from the sideline, boy, your forwards look a lot more relaxed and just a lot more confident, whereas Garden Bishop was having a bit of a wayward time at times with the boot. 7 runs, 11 meters, beat 2 defenders, had 18 passes. Just proper all-round shift from him. Ran the show well. I think 3 out of 4 tackles. He got bumped off by Amua. I thought it was Barrett at the time, but no, it was Amua. No, Amua that bumped Black. When I watched it back, that was pretty tough. But apart from that, pretty good night at the office for him. Midfielders, probably a bit of an unpopular pick with this one. Maybe a token Hurricane. Hear me out. You don't have to agree, but I know Laumape, I've done videos on him before. His stats are all about him. His tries, his defenders beaten, his clean breaks. When you compared him to Crotty, he was like a night and day different player. Crotty was all line break assists, tackles galore, all that kind of stuff. So Laumape's game is traditionally all about him doing it. He's the guy who makes the play happen, at least. He's the result of the play rather than setting it up. But he felt like his role shifted a bit. I mean, at least the Blues kept him fairly quiet and kind of double-teaming him quite a lot. He had 11 runs, 38 meters, still beat 3 defenders, had 2 clean breaks, and an offload, 6 passes. He was putting kicks through. That seemed to be a tactic that if the Blues were going to double-team him, at least he'd be able to create space for others. Maybe on another day, some of those play out a bit better. And defensively, which is another area he gets criticised a lot for not being as busy as some of his other midfield counterparts, he had 9 from 10 tackles. And those were some of the best numbers in terms of backs at the weekend. So good effort from Nani. Even if he wasn't doing it all himself, maybe a bit more of an all-round performance than what we're used to seeing. 2 penalties conceded and maybe a bit of a black mark on him there. Midfield, also I've gone with Rico Ioane. Also not a perfect game, but he's fairly new to the midfield, man. He's one of the world's best wingers playing in the midfield against some pretty bloody good wingers in those Hurricanes guys. He had really good attacking spark, and it really showed up in that first try. But 13 runs, 52 meters is a great return for a guy at centre. 9 passes and offload, which led to the try assist. 2 clean breaks, 3 defenders beaten. Black mark on his game, you'd say 10 from 15 tackles. It's a third that he's missed. Is not ideal. If you're a winger coming into the midfield, maybe that's an area of a game you're more likely to have trouble with, and maybe that showed a bit. But that will come with time if they keep playing him there. He also conceded a couple of penalties, but you'd have to say he looked sharp, and ball in hand was very, very dangerous. Bit of a live wire for the Hurricanes guys to contain. Outside backs, another Blues man. I've gone with Caleb Clark. He's back from sevens because there's no sevens on at the minute, so he's playing Super Rugby, and boy, are we happy about that. He had a try, and it was maybe the try of the game. I don't know. 11 runs, 105 run meters. Not many guys. How many guys cracked the 100? He might have been the only one. 100 run meters for the game. 2 clean breaks, 5 defenders beaten, 3 from 3 tackles. He's young, but he's big, strong, and fast. What else do you want from a winger? Those are a few good things to have. Another outside back, I've gone with D-Mac. Call him the token chief. But again, if you think D-Mac, you're thinking only offloads and crazy, steps to get clean breaks of his own and wild play. He probably didn't have that night. But when the ball was just being so loose and the Chiefs couldn't get phases to go together, they needed a bit more of a conservative game at times. He's the guy who kicked 4 penalties and a conversion, also had a try assist, so he got 17 points of his own. Plus, you could add 5 for the try assist if you want to take it that far. Remember, 27 points for the Chiefs on the night. 9 runs, 50 meters. Some of those meters are free because he's at fullback and he gets to run forward without much opposition. But 13 passes, didn't have to make a tackle, and the drop goal pretty much won the game until Bryn Gatland won the game. But if Bryn Gatland doesn't get that drop goal, maybe he's man of the match. Just saying. And lastly, I've gone with Mark Talea. He was dangerous before COVID. He was on 50-odd tackle bust. The next best was 30-odd. And in this game, he had 10. 10 defenders beaten. Who's the next best on my list? Like 6? That's just kind of the way it goes, man. He is such a handful. I think he made Chase Tia look pretty sick at one point with a big kind of fend step. And he had a try assist, 6 runs, 10 defenders beaten, an offload, 2 clean breaks, made 7 out of 8 tackles. Kind of kept Ben Lamb quiet. I was a little worried about his defense if Ben Lamb really got full speed on him, but he kept him pretty quiet. At least one good diving tackle on him to make sure he didn't get away. So, that's the 15. The second time around for me. Hopefully the microphone's on the right one this time. And, as always, you guys let me know your thoughts. A few honourable mentions. Dane Coles with the try, like I mentioned. Proper winger. And, the celebration at the end was hilarious. Bryn Gatland with the drop goal. That's the moment of the weekend, even if he didn't get many minutes. And as Carl said to me on Patreon, maybe written out of his dad's will after that one. But, I'm sure they'll get over it. Dalton Papali'i for the Blues really made an impact when he came off the bench, man. I think they looked better with him than with Gibson, to be fair. He immediately came on, won a penalty, scored a try, tackles, and he was just full form. Akoi for the Chiefs. He came on earlier than expected, 20-odd minutes. Big ball carrier as well. He ended up getting a bit of a harsh tackle on him, which saw one of the Highlanders guys yellow carded. So, definitely added a lot of impact for a young man. Tua for the Highlanders. So, the number 8 for the Highlanders, is it Tua or Tu'u? I'll have to double check that. He was phenomenal as well. It was kind of between him and Mitch Hunt, but I wanted a guy who wasn't just like a tackle. I already got that with Satutu, and Hunt with those tackles was just phenomenal. But either way, and Fa'ane for the Blues didn't have a lot in the way of personal stats, but had a try assist, and his tackle stats were okay, but not fantastic, but also worthy of a mention. So those are my 15 guys. As always, you guys let me know your thoughts on the team. Who else would you have had in there? Any other honourable mentions? And if you haven't seen the game yourself, stick around and I'll let you know how I watch it on ESPN Plus when I got home. But cheers guys, and I'll talk to you again soon. See you later. So you can see I turned on the VPN. I put myself on American site. This time I'm in Denver. Once that connects, I go to the website espnplus.com, which is an American website. If you go from non-America, I guess you get page not found. But once you're in America via the VPN, you can log into your account. You'll have to sign up for an account first if you're not a member. It costs $4.99, so $4.99 American for a monthly subscription. And once you're in, you'll have to sign up with the American zip code, but that's easy enough to Google. Once you're in, the rugby is there on demand after the game. That's how I had a look at it. The games are on live as well if you're keen to watch the games live. But yeah, I got home from the game, flicked on ESPN Plus, and rewatched the Blues and Hurricanes game. It works pretty well for me. I would say check out ESPN Plus's site. As I said, it's pretty straightforward. There's a link to the VPN in the description. If you sign up there, you get 30 days before you can request a no questions asked refund. So give that a crack to see if it works for you. If it works well enough, just keep it, man, because if you're looking for your Super Rugby Aotearoa, which at the minute is the only rugby on, this seems to be a pretty easy way to get it for mine.